Okay, so then I've already thought about a lot of this, but I could then start plotting more. After I have all this information, I can start plugging in information here and start thinking about what my major turning points are going to be. That's probably the first thing you want to think of is what are your major turning points? What are they going to be? And then start filling in between those. So you have the desire and your goal. And so now you want to think about your turning point. So you might want to know your setup, but pretty much you probably already know your setup like I do. I already know my setup now. Once I know my desire, my goal, I pretty much know my setup. But if not, put some time in your setup here. But then your 5 turning points. Once you have your 5 turning points, then start filling in this stuff. The new situation, how you get from here to here, how you get from turning point to turning point, your progress. This is where most of your thinking is going to be, because this is where most of the story takes place. This is where the tar of sorrow happens, and where she figures out that she has to go to the gods to find the answer, and her and Cloud have to be forced to be together, to work together, even though they don't want to, or she definitely doesn't want to. This is where they fight the eel lady. This is where they fight the trees. This is where they fight all kinds of enemies. So this is the long journey. They have to go through all this crap to get to the mountain, and then finally, when they get to the mountain, be able to final battle and get back and defeat the dude. So once you know my turning points, then I can think of those. But before I do that, I wanted to mention one more enemy. That was the Pan guy. Not really enemy, but an obstacle. So another thing is, I remember just that she plays the flute, this like elven flute, and it's a special elven flute with like 3 branches on it, which kind of resembles a peace sign. And she's very good at it. And her people just aren't into music really, and they don't understand why she puts so much time into playing her stupid flute. And the thing is, it's kind of got magical powers. It can kind of influence nature and stuff. She noticed there's like a couple scenes in the beginning where you can kind of see that. That way it's foreshadowed. That way when it gets to this point where she meets this Pan character, he's like, best flute player ever. And he's very prideful about it. And so, he says, look, I'll let you pass. He's like, I'm not going to let you pass. There's like a part of the forest thing to get through, and he won't let him pass unless she can defeat him in playing the flute. He's like, I see you have a flute there. I'll tell you what, make you a deal. You beat me in flute playing, and I'll let you pass. And she's like, okay, that seems fair enough, but who's going to be the judge? Why? The trees, nature itself will be the judge, and all the trees close up and close the path off. And as he plays, he starts playing, and it influences the trees, and they close the path off. And he says, simply beat me. If you can play while I'm playing, and you can make the trees move, then you can pass. That's the judge. And, now she's like, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. He has these antlers on his head, the deer antlers on his head, and they, talk. And at first she doesn't realize who's talking when they first start talking. And I kind of have this little scene where they're on his head, and they fight, and their name are Ton and Knot. That's the antlers' names. And so they kind of butt in while this challenge is happening. And so he's like, hey... He's like, he tells him to shut up, and his antler says, no, you shut up. And she's like trying to figure out who just said that, And they keep talking. And he says, Pan says, I'll rip you off my head, I swear. And she's thinking, oh my God, what's going on? He's like losing his mind or something. And where did that other voice come from? And then the antlers talk again. You always say that. You won't rip us off your head. And she's starting to figure out, are his antlers talking, And that maybe at one point she even asked, and then they're like, yeah, we're talking, dummy. And she sees little mouths on the antlers. So Pan grabs them and he starts pulling, and Antler's like, hey, that hurts. What are you doing? I told you you would drive him overboard. He's going to rip us off. It's your fault, loudmouth. So they're arguing as he's trying to pull them off. And I think he does pull them off, but maybe they just come back. I haven't really figured out how that scene's going to all work out, but anyway. It's kind of cool. So just wanted to share that. All right, so I need to figure out my 5 turning points. The first turning point is going to be, where she has opportunity presented to her, and that is that she needs to go and get the medicine man. She needs to find, try to see if he can find out what the problem is with these people, why they're turning up catatonic, whatever. And then that's the new situation, new scenario where she has to go on this short journey, and then she finds out that's not the case. And then the second one here, the monkey wrench, is where everything is messed up, and that's where she finds out that she's pretty sure it's not the disease, and this is where her best friend, first her mother sometime here, but it's when her best friend gets messed up. That's the monkey wrench. That's when it changes, and she has this whole new plan in the crisis I mentioned before of choosing between being kicked out or going and following her instinct. She decides to follow her instinct to save her friend. Okay, so turning point 3, which will be the no turning back. This is when they reach that point of no return. So the turning point 3, I'm thinking, is probably going to be when she has gone on the journey far enough, has overcome a couple of things between here and here, and now she can't go back because she realized, now she has a revelation and knows that the Eater of Souls is real, and that those weird things are like taking people's souls, the soul bringers. And so now she realizes that she can see the soul bringers, and something else has to happen too, I imagine, that where she can't turn back, and one of those people on the way tells her that she needs to go to the gods or whatever to get the answer. She knows she has to do that now, and that person tells him that Cloud has to go with you. You guys have to be together, or that probably happens somewhere along this path. But then she reaches that point of no return where she can't turn back now because there's nothing to go back to. She realizes that, wow, the Eater of Souls is going to keep doing this. There is no cure unless we stop the Eater of Souls. So she can't turn back now. She can't just go, oh, I give up. The only way she's going to save her friend and everyone, she doesn't know how many souls this guy will eat. And then she finds out that he's trying to escape, and that if he escapes, he gets enough souls and escapes, he's going to try to start his empire again. And there's like legends about this dark empire where darkness ruled over the land, and she can't let that happen either. And so that's the point of no return. And so then I need turning point 4, where all seems lost. It seems like everything's pointless. So that's probably going to be where when they get to the mountain and they just see how difficult it's going to be to get up the mountain, and it just seems impossible. And but that's when she first starts seeing her strength, and so all seems lost. So I need to spend some time to think about this one, though. Okay, so after doing some thinking about it, I decided that the no turning back point. All right, so the no turning back point is now going to be that they went through the Tar of Anger, they've passed Pan's quest, they just got through passing Pan's quest, and all the branches close up again. She plays her flute, but they don't move this time. So literally the path is broken, so in order to go back, they don't even know if there's another way back. Like, that path is the way back, and they'd have to go around the long way, and they don't even know if there is another way or how long it would take to go that way. And also she sees one of the bringer of souls take someone's soul. She actually sees it rip someone's soul out. Now she is pretty sure that the crazy lady that was telling her about the Eater of Souls and she has to go to the gods and stuff was not insane, that she was telling the truth. And that these soul bringers are bringing the souls back to the Eater of Souls, and that if the Eater of Souls get enough souls, that he's going to escape and be powerful enough to start his dark world again. And also, along the way, they've seen many other people of all different kinds of species that are becoming catatonic, and now she knows for sure they all lost their souls, and that it's just going to keep spreading until he escapes, and until too many people lose their souls. And so now she can't turn back. She has to go because no one else would go to the gods. No one else is going. And so, yeah, that's the point of no return. All seems lost. I'll come back with one more video for that and sum this up, finish this off. Please visit the link there on Master Edit. I'll have all my videos there for different things on writing and articles.